actually working on the film for almost 4 years before we were finished, and we filmed the event twice. So we filmed it, and then after a year we were still fundraising, and the event happened again. The first one was the first ever, and we learned what we could have done differently, how we could have made the shooting better, and we went back and started completely over the second year. And then it took us another, 2 years to raise money and to edit. So quite a long time to write it, considering that it was 24 hours to shoot.
My father asked me why I was doing it, and I told him sort of tongue-in-cheek that I was looking for the secret to the creative process. So he said, "What's the secret?" And I said, "Well, you have to watch the film." But I did find out a few answers, and one of them is to have a collaborator and do that sort of improv thing where you say yes, 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 and another is to have a deadline, and the other is to commit. Like, there were a lot of ideas. At 2 o'clock, they committed. And even when at 4 o'clock in the morning they were throwing up, they were committed and they stuck it through. And we found that also with our creative process. We had our throwing up style moments.
We had one camera with each group, but each of the groups you could see during rehearsal and whatnot, a lot of the times they would separate, and there'd be some people in the hallway and some people in another room. And we had to trust each of our 4 videographers to find the people and get the action, because it was obviously also sensitive. I mean, people were going through stuff and they didn't really want the camera to be there. So the least intrusive that we could be is how we set it up. And we also, even though we were up for the 24 hours, we sent home our first crew after 12 hours and started a second crew. And then we had one person as a roving camera all the time doing, and a setup doing the interviews. So we had 5 cameras going all the time, and we had 10 videographers over the 24 hours. And
at the same time, 3 editors taking the cards that were being recorded onto to upload the cards and send them back to the cameras.
But it made us have, obviously have to trust. We were going in the rooms when we could, but we had to trust our videographers to be filming it. We made the film out of pocket for the first 3 years, outside of a Kickstarter campaign where we raised $18,000 towards it, but mostly it was out of pocket. And then one of the people after 3 years who had come on through our Kickstarter campaign, no, not one person more significantly than other people, but maybe about 5 or 6 people came on and gave donations of $5,000 to $10,000. And so we were able to finish the film. That was at the end of 2010. And so then within 6 months after that, we were able to finish. So just not a lot of money. I'll just say that.
But I'll just add, just so you know a little about the process of fundraising. We held 2 fundraising parties that raised 0 money. And on our Kickstarter campaign, a lot of friends and family gave. But the very, very last day of the campaign, where you're just biting your nails and crossing your fingers, we were so close to our goal, a stranger came on and put us over the top. And it was just like a miracle. And then once we got our rough cut done, we put out the word that we were ready to accept investments. And we got a 3-letter email from this complete stranger who had put us over the top: "I will invest." And so that's the magic of the internet that really, really just happened around Christmas time.